It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join News Director Paul David and News Editor Philip Catafamo as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics in Yavapai County that affect all our lives. And now here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it is great to have you in studio today. Today, we're going to talk about a couple of different things. Census and permits with Yavapai County Development Services Director Dave Williams. Welcome to studio.
Thank you.
And Assistant Director of Development Services, Jeremy Dye. Welcome to studio.
Good morning.
And the website is Yavapai County's website. It's yavapai.us. We want to jump into the first thing. We got a lot to cover today. Is you want to talk about Census 2020.
Yeah.
It's key.
It really is. Excuse me. It really is. This year, we have our decennial census as required by the U.S. Constitution. Every 10 years, the U.S. government has to go out and count how many people are in the country. It's critical because this gets into our redistricting, so our Congress districts, the supervisor districts, all of these roll into those numbers. And we really need to work on getting an accurate count this year. 2010 had some controversy with it, unfortunately, on the federal level due to some of the questions. Those questions aren't on this year, so they're moving forward, and everybody's going to be participating here really in the month of March and early April. And it comes down to where you live on April 1st. April Fool's Day. The government has to pick a fun date for us.
Right.
But that's the statutory date. But everybody counts in this census. The census, what a lot of people don't realize is our budgets, the county's budget, the money that goes to improve the roads and provide health services and all of the services the county provides, the other agencies provide, are driven by the U.S. Census, driven by population. This go around, they're estimating that from the federal side, each person counted in this county is going to be worth about $2,000 of money that is given by the federal government in grants and projects and everything else into Yavapai County. So we're really trying to make a very concerted effort. We're going to be pushing a lot of outreach, so you're going to start seeing bumper stickers on the county cars. You're going to start seeing banners, and this is kind of our first outreach event to get out and really get the word out.
Okay.
So,
and we're going to do a show on it too. You guys are going to set me up with somebody who can come in and talk about Census 2020 because it is going to be a big deal. And I do remember 2010. It took quite a bit of time to get through the census, but it is key for the funds.
It really is. This year is kind of interesting. This is going to be, I believe, the first year where you can call in on your telephone and fill out all the census questions through the phone, or you can go online and do it. So we're talking right now in our census groups of setting up kiosk locations around the county. So if you don't have a computer, you can come into one of our offices and we'll have a computer set up for you to fill out your census information and get it taken care of. The libraries are going to be participating, so you'll be able to go to one of the local libraries if you're in the village of Oak Creek or the Montezuma Rimrock area. You'll be able to go to that library and take care of your census information.
Okay. Is it going to be a door-to-door thing as well? I mean, there's some really remote areas, so I imagine some door-to-door will probably be taking place as well. Right?
There is, as a matter of fact. There's going to be a lot of door-to-door for people that don't get the surveys in. They have to go back and do that. Over the last few months, we've had, the census has had people going, driving communities, verifying the addresses so they know where the houses are. We know where people are living, just to help make sure that the data is accurate going forward. But with that, it was just in the newspaper, so if you go to the U.S. Census website, they'll have this information. They're looking to hire 14,000 people in Arizona alone for some short-term jobs to help with the census enumeration. So there's going to be a lot of job opportunities for anybody looking for that short-term employment with the U.S. Census.
Okay, all right. Census coming up 2020. We'll be talking about a lot, obviously, that and elections next year as well.
Indeed.
Let me tell you guys a little story, and this is why I asked Dave and Jeremy to be here today, is because I recently had a furnace installed in my home along with a gas pipe from my furnace out of the house, and then Unisource came in and ran a gas line from the street to my house. I got the furnace installed, I got the gas line installed out of the house from the furnace, and then Unisource had finished their job too, and the last piece of the puzzle was to get that meter put in, which Unisource comes back and does. when I called to get the meter put in, they said, "Do you have a green tag?" And I said, "No." "What's a green tag?" And they said, "That's the county inspection. You got to call the county and get someone to come out and inspect it and get a green tag on there." So when I called the county, not Yavapai County, Coconino County, they said, "Well, you don't have permits. What's your permit number?" I said, "I don't have a permit." "Oh, well, you've got to have a permit." "What do you mean you don't have permits?" "You need a permit for this and you need a permit for this." "I need a permit for the furnace as well as the gas line from the furnace going out of the house." And you guys know that's the case as well. So, okay, this was news to me. I have never gotten a permit before for anything I've ever done. You know, they're both looking like, "Oh boy, this guy's putting all kinds of violations." But so what it boiled down to is eventually I did get the permits I needed for it, and then I was asking the county inspector when they showed up to inspect it. I said, "So whose job is it to get these permits?" And it really does fall back, is what I understand, onto me. However, the contractor has some responsibility in permits as well. And this is what kind of spurred this show to have you guys come in and talk about this is how do permits work and when do you need them, when don't you need them? It all boiled down to get the work got done and the furnace is installed and my house is nice and warm. So that's all a good thing, but it did take about a month and a half to get it done and multiple inspections. So at the same time, again, I realized it boiled down to me, but there could have been several warning signs much earlier that would have probably got me on the right track much faster. Can you address some of that? Who wants to?
I'll let Jeremy take it.
Okay.
So permitting, permitting is required for any kind of work that is going to affect the valuation of your home or the safety or the structure of your home. So in the case of, your stove, that's going to affect the safety, that's going to affect how your home operates, and so it's going to be required. So anytime that you're making a change to your home, if there's a question about it, give us a call, give our office a call. We can let you know if a permit's required or if it's just something that's cosmetic or something like that. So give us a call for that. We've made it actually very easy to obtain a permit these days because we've just recently in the last 3 months transitioned over to an online web-based permitting system. So that replaces a system that we had that was 20 years old and pretty antiquated at that point. So we've transitioned over to this new online permitting system. Basically, you're able to get online from your home or your phone, your tablet, whatever it is. You can even come into our office and use a kiosk if you want to, if you don't have access to the internet at your home. And then set up a one-time account. Then from that point forward, you can upload your permit application, your documents, your plans, et cetera, whatever required documentation is needed. That goes directly to our permitting staff. They process it from there. They will send that directly to our building safety folks who will review the plans, make sure, make any marks that need to be corrected, or just pass it on through if it's good to go. At that point, your permit's issued to you electronically right to your email address. So it's a very easy process at this point. And so you can move forward from there. And then at that point, you can schedule all of your permit inspections online.
Okay. And the turnaround rate for that it seemed pretty quick because it was also online up there too, where we filled out the permits, and I think it was within 24 hours we had the permits and then we could move forward. So I was impressed with how fast you guys can get those done.
Some of the less complex permits can move, overnight, really, 24 hours. Some of the more complex permit applications for like a new home that require a lot more intensive, inspection or examination, those are going to take a little bit longer.
Okay, let's take our first break. Yavapai County Development Services Director Dave Williams is in studio today, along with Assistant Director Jeremy Dye. Yavapai.us is the website. Stick around, countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
Parents, you know as well as I do, there's nothing more important than your children. Don't you love to look in their eyes and see the love? Make sure they can see that love in your eyes by having their eyes examined. You can't tell how well your kids see, but Dr. Houston at Camp Verde Eye Care certainly can. Call 567-3330 to make an appointment. You'll be glad you did. Camp Verde Eye Care at 567-3330. They really do care.
Hi, this is Michelle and I welcome you to Sedona Paint Centre. We are here to help you find the perfect colour scheme and product for your home and business. Enjoy free in-store and in-home color consultations and free paint samples in a color of your choice. As a special offer to you, just mention this ad and save an extra 10% and enjoy 30% off store-wide.
Turning your real estate dreams and goals into reality, I'm Claudette Johnson with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. For more than 7 years, I've helped both real estate buyers and sellers put me and my team's extensive knowledge of the Sedona and Verde Valley area to work for you. Come see a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath, single-level home with a pool at 50 Sedona Street. You'll love the Sedona Red Rock views from this VOC area home. We turn your real estate goals into reality. Claudette Johnson at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services of Arizona.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
Welcome back to Countywide. We're talking development services with Director Dave Williams and Jeremy Dye, Assistant Director, both of Yavapai County. Yavapai.us is the website. So we've got the permit. Permits go pretty fast, and you said it. You said it right there, Jeremy. Is that when in doubt, make a phone call and just ask. Absolutely. It never hurts to ask. Now, prior to the show, Dave, you were telling me that I was under the impression that Yavapai County has this set of standards, and the cities and towns maybe have some different standards as well, which they may still have. But I think the larger picture is universal.
Universal. So over the last year, one of the things we did, and we worked with the YCCA Contractors Association to help coordinate a lot of these efforts. So I want to give kudos to Sandy Grippus over there to really pull this together. We got all the jurisdictions, for the most part in Yavapai County, on the same page. So we all adopted the 2018 building codes at the same point in time, which is almost unheard of, and we have almost identical codes across the board. So there's very, very minor differences. So a contractor working in Rimrock or Sedona is going to have the same expectation of codes as working in Cottonwood or Prescott, so that the codes themselves are as equal as possible. Prior to this, what we had is everybody was on the 2012 codes, but we had a Prescott version and a Prescott Valley and a county version where little changes were made, but they just made the application of the code, quite frankly, a lot more difficult because there were a lot of little nuances. We tried to get everybody on the same page this time, and I think it worked really, really well. All
right. Let's talk about when I do and when I don't need a permit. Let's say I've got a deck in front of my house that's old, it's rotted. If I take the whole deck off of my house, detach it completely, get rid of it, and put the same exact structure onto my house, do I need a permit?
Yes.
Okay. And then I ask, and
I say that because that's not a maintenance issue. You're getting into actually replacing all the structural elements of that deck, and it becomes a new structure. Where we don't need a permit is if you have a couple boards that get dry rotted out. That's pretty typical out here in Arizona. You need to replace some elements of that deck. That does not require a permit. We look at that as a maintenance item. But when we actually get into the physical footings, the attachment points to the house, the structural integrity of that, that's where you really want to have the permits. And we have seen in this county, in the Verde Valley, as a matter of fact, in the last few years, we've had 2 deck failures. Second floor decks coming off of homes that have catastrophically failed. And thankfully nobody was hurt in either of those instances. But we've all seen the videos on YouTube of decks and floors collapsing.
Sure.
It's a concern. So
some of the bigger misunderstandings with your guys' agency. What are some of the biggest things you see that folks come through and you're like, how do we get the word about this? That this is not good. Is there anything that really sticks out in your heads that you see over and over and over again?
One of the big things that we see is just a lack of wanting to get permits, quite frankly, or thinking people are just exempt from getting permits because they live in a rural area. Unfortunately, the building code is county-wide, so it doesn't matter whether you live in the middle of Bridgeport, where we're at right now, or in Seligman on a 100-acre parcel. The building code applies equally. And that county requirement, a lot of people don't realize this, that county requirement is driven not by the county's desire to have a building code. It's driven by the public health safety requirements that we have to make sure structures are safe, make sure that this house isn't going to burn down, which is going to cause a wildfire, jeopardizing other people's lives. But it also drills down to insurance. We have to maintain at the county, we have to maintain the county's ISO rating, which is the insurance rating. And that is a number for the entire county. And that directly goes to your individual homeowner insurance. So if we don't have building codes, if we don't maintain these codes and enforce these codes, the ISO rating goes up significantly. And that then shifts into very significant increases on homeowners insurance for your property. Most of us have mortgages out there. How many of us can afford to have our insurance go 4 or 5 times what it is overnight, and be able to still stay in our home? So it really comes down to the protection of the communities. It comes down to protecting the values and having the communities be as affordable as possible.
The bottom line is safety. So it's a matter of your home is your home. Your expansion on your home, whatever it is that you're building, is built to a safe standard.
You guys staffed well enough? I mean, Yavapai County, you showed me a map. It's black and white, but there's a heat index on it. It shows the Quad City area booming with growth. It shows the Verde Valley definitely booming with some growth. Do you have enough to go around? I mean,
we should talk about that a little bit.
Yeah,
we can always use more. The chart that we showed you earlier is just a heat map that shows all of the growth in the entire county. And as you mentioned, the Quad City area is just really exploding right now. But the same is true in Verde Valley. We've staffed up in the last year, especially on the Verde side. We've added quite a bit of staff all across the board, environmental, on-site wastewater inspectors, building inspectors. We've added a lot of staff because of the growth that we're seeing. We're seeing more growth now, actually, in the county than we did prior to the economic downturn 10 years ago.
Yeah, Supervisor Garrison was in here a couple weeks ago, and he said something like 40% of the people moving to the area are actually coming out of Maricopa County. And I was guessing, he had me guess, I was guessing probably California or some other state nearby, but it turned out it was Maricopa County that everyone was coming up from.
Yeah.
So I was kind of surprised to hear that, but leaps and bounds here in Yavapai County for sure. Why do we need a permit? And I think you addressed it a little bit, Dave, but why do we need a permit, period? Why can't I just do what I want to do to my house? It's my house.
Well, let me tell you a story about last Christmas, last holidays, we'll call it. And this is really, holidays, Thanksgiving through New Year's. We had 4 houses in this county burned down. 3 of those burned down, catastrophic losses due to non-code compliant work that people thought they knew better. They thought they could do it. 2 of those were wood stoves that were installed improperly. Another one was a solar system that was put in place with no permits at a time when we actually required permits. APS was never brought into the loop. So these 3 houses, that were code related, they were complete catastrophic losses. And, thankfully nobody got hurt. Again, I don't want to ever see anybody get hurt from this, but these folks lost everything they owned in this. And unfortunately, the insurance companies, when they read the fire investigators report and they read our report, that this should have required a permit, they should have gone through these steps, oftentimes they won't pay out. So people, they can lose everything. If these wood fires, the wood burning stove fires had happened at night, I really fear we would have had a different result. I think we would have had people hurt or killed. We were very fortunate that these fires were in the daytime while everybody was awake, and we're able to address that. But it changes your life. If you lose your home overnight, that's everything you own.
It's always nice to have somebody else come in and double check your work a little bit, isn't it?
Well, and it really is.
Yeah, it is.
We catch a lot of safety things in our inspections, and that's really, why we're there. We want to make sure that the home is safe for you and your family to live in. and the next family, and the next family. We want to make sure that that structure is safe for the next 50 years.
Yeah, the neighbors around it too. Let's take our second break. Website is yavapai.us. Yavapai County Development Services Director Dave Williams in studio. Assistant Director Jeremy Dye. Stick around. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Regrow, repair, replace. Regenerative medicine is the process of creating living, functional tissues to repair or replace tissue or organ function lost due to age, disease, damage, or congenital defects. Dr. Forrest Lanchbury and the team at Sedona Regenerative Medicine specialize in finding relief for patients suffering from chronic pain. Contact Sedona Regenerative Medicine to learn about anti-aging medicines that will help your body heal itself. 928-282-2520 or SedonaRegen.com.
Starting in the late 1920s, Grandpa Gettle and his brothers laid the groundwork for what would become a family legacy. Almost 100 years and 100 patents later, Gettle's High Desert Mechanical continues to raise the bar of quality heating, cooling, and plumbing products and services in the Verde Valley.
Call Gettle's High Desert Mechanical Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing at 567-2200 or online at GettlesHDM.com, providing solutions for your comfort. Don't settle. Get Gettles.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late...
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice. She's new.
Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened?
Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a few minutes left in the program talking with Yavapai County Development Services. Dave Williams and Jeremy Dye in studio today. Video inspections are coming. It's been a punch list today, but hopefully we'll get everybody to go to the website and kind of educate themselves on permits.
Well, and this is something that's coming down the road. This is one of the initiatives we're actually pretty proud of. We've been working on a program to allow for video inspections. Right now you have your work being done out on site, you're doing it yourself or your contractor is doing it. And then you're ready at a certain point, you need to have an inspection done. And the inspections, of course, to just ensure that what's being built out there matches what is being designed on the plans. At this point now, we're about to implement in the early in the next year video inspection. And so basically what that is just a simple Skype type of video chat where the contractor is out on site and walking around with his camera, his tablet, his phone, whatever it is, streaming that back through a video chat to the inspector who's back in the office. And one of the nice things about that is, for our side, is from the county side, is that's going to save that wear and tear on the vehicle, the drive time out and back to the job site. And of course, the county is large, so there could be a lot of drive time just out to one site. But the nice thing too for the contractor or the permit applicant is that they will be able to schedule that inspection for any time of the day. So they'll have that convenience to know that at a certain point on Tuesday at 1:30, for instance, the county's going to give you a call and you're going to be able to walk around with your video phone, look at the work that's been done, and the inspector at that point can either pass or fail it. So, and hopefully, of course, pass that, and then you can move on to the next phase of your project.
That's pretty neat. Yeah, that will keep things streamlined, won't it, for you?
Yeah,
most definitely.
We're pretty excited about it. It's in fact, we're hoping to roll that out in the first quarter of next year. So we're just about there.
Okay, all right. Anything else? Census 2020, we covered that. That's coming up next year. We'll do more shows on that, and we'll have obviously more news stories. Next year is going to be such a huge year for everybody with the census and the elections going on. But that's you need employees. You're looking for employees too.
Absolutely
so
do.
I would check Yavapai County. Yeah, what do you need?
I need building inspectors. engineers. I need plans reviewers, both of which are professional level positions, and we will do the training. If someone's got a real interest in it, they got an aptitude to read plans and do that, we will train you up. We're looking for a senior planner right now, or a planner too, mid-level or a high-range land planner. We're looking for one of those in the office, and what else?
Senior planner. We need more permit techs.
We need more permit techs. We need some more permit techs. The big problem we have is we get these wonderful people in, we train them up, and then the private industry steals them away from us.
Ain't it the truth,
for more money, unfortunately. But we've got a great retirement, great benefits package. So anybody coming out of high school, college that's got an interest or an aptitude, we'd love to hear from you.
Dave, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
We barely scraped the surface, but we scraped it. That's the main point. Dave Williams and Jeremy Dye, both with Yavapai County Development Services. This is Countywide. Thanks as always for watching, listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.